Good morning from Super 8 here in Colby, Kansas. If this is your first time tuning into the series of videos that I've been posting, we are on a great American road trip, and this is our second day of heading eastbound towards home in Maryland. We made it all the way out to Durango, Colorado and back. We're making it back to Maryland to go home and work and do whatever again, so we are on the way back now. We are in Colby, as I've said before. I'm just repeating things at this point. But today we have a long drive ahead of us. We're headed to Columbia, Missouri from Colby, Kansas, which is where we are now. We're going to hit the Midwest Dream Car Collection, go to downtown Columbia, see what all there is to see, and maybe get a little more, depending on what we see and what we do. I don't know, a lot of this road trip has been very spontaneous, which has been pretty cool. It's cool to be able to just go out, explore, you see something cool, pull over, look at it, scenic overlooks, people, friends, places, you name it, we've seen it all. So I think the drive is about 6.5, 7 hours, something like that, so not too terrible. It's about 10:30 now, and we got to be out of this hotel by 11, so we're getting there. Today is also Thursday, July 18th, 2024. Notice this looking out the window of this here hotel room. Check that out. Old Detroit diesel sign up there. I don't see that too often these days. Anyways, we slept well last night. It's time to head out for the day and see what's in store. All checked out, all good to go. Found it interesting when we checked in last night. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I've seen plenty of 4-story hotels, but I don't think I've ever seen one that was two 2-story hotels. You can see there's a building on the left and then a building further down on the right. That's the one that we were at, that building over there. That's the one with the Detroit diesel sign behind it, so interesting little setup, but no complaints. I slept pretty well last night. I needed it after 10.5 hours and 600 miles behind the wheel, but yeah, on to today and whatever the adventures hold. The real reason that we had to stop in Colby, Kansas. Colby?
Yes?
Colby.
Yeah.
It's already getting mighty comfortable over here. It ain't easy when you run the town now, is it?
No.
We're on the road from Colby now.
It's a sad day.
It is a sad day that we do eventually have to leave. So sad.
This wonderful town.
Wonderful small little town.
I built from the ground up.
With your bare hands.
Yep, I built this since I came out of the womb.
We built this city on rock and roll, you know they say.
Absolutely.
But yeah, nice little town, very friendly people, with the very few people that we did interact with, but nice little place. We will not forget. On the road again. There she is, 298,000. We stopped by St. Mary's Church in Ellis, Kansas. I have some family history here, so I make sure that I always step in, check it out, say a prayer. It's a beautiful church, inside and out. Little Suzuki Samurai we found on the way out, but we're driving through downtown Ellis right now, if you want to call it that. It's not much of a downtown compared to what we're used to, but honestly I think I'd rather have a small little town outside of a bigger city than just big cities everywhere like we do. Nice little place, and I did check on the family history. Great-grandfather painted the original murals in there, and my great-grandmother's baptized in there, so that's what it is. Pretty cool to be able to check out some areas where relatives way before my time lived, resided, settled down and all that. For the time being though, we're gonna go ahead, hit 70 again and make our way to the Midwest Dream Car Collection on our way to Columbia, which is where we're staying for the night. We're off of I-70 now. We're on Kansas Route State 18 for Manhattan, Kansas. So we're about 12 miles outside of the museum. I'll update you once we get there. We have made it here to the Midwest Dream Car Collection in Manhattan, Kansas, and found this beauty just sitting right out front. Nice and clean inside. That's the same phone charger I got. Let's see what they have on display this time around. I was back here in 2021 and they had a fair share out and they said they rotate it fairly often, so I'm curious to see what's here that was here last time as well and what's new. Last time I was here was during COVID as well, but looks like things have lightened up a bit. First thing on display when you walk in, the classic DeLorean. Everyone knows this one. 4-speed manual, 130 horsepower. Does not get better than that. '51 Power Wagon, Flathead 6. 23 windows, it says. '07 Ford Model R Roadster. The Model T is off display for maintenance. Dang. 29 Ford Model A. You'd think this just came off the showroom floor. I mean, heck, in, what'd I say, the 20s? This probably didn't even come off the showroom floor this clean. Man. So goofy. This was here last time I was here in 2021. This thing's got 2 rows of seats?
Yeah.
Man.
So that's what we call the wagon.
This thing is spacious. I mean, you can haul around a whole 2.5 people in here.
Fifth wheel with this thing.
Exactly. Look at this size. Look at those tires, little baby tires. What are they, 145s? Yeah, 145s on 10-inch radius wheels. It's a cool looking piece of machinery. I like those leather seats as well in there. This is not a gauge cluster, that's a cockpit you're sitting in.
There's my Chrysler New Yorker.
For being $8 admission, it's a pretty impressive collection and very well kept. Back in 2003, when I was just a wee baby, my grandfather was shopping for a new car, and he's looking for some different small roadsters. He was looking at a Miata and a Nissan 350Z, which is what I was told. And he decided to go with the 350Z because it could fit his golf clubs and the Miata couldn't. Now if we take a look at this one, look at golf club passageway in that. Heck yeah. 57 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Coupe Gullwing. I love the look of these two. Look at that interior. It's got a little sort of same style mirror the Corvette did right there of the year. So we're looking at this here, and we were talking to one of the gentlemen that worked here. This was produced after World War II. Preston Tucker was the designer of this car. There's a movie called Tucker, A Man in His Dream. And we were talking with him about this and its design and everything. Starting up front, one of the most notable things is it was illegal to have 3 headlights up front, or more than 2 at least. So you can see that dish back there kind of rotated back and forth with the steering wheel. Would turn on at more than 10 to 15 degrees of steering, but stay off otherwise. Pretty cool, and I love the design of it. It's just got this striking shape to it. It's got all this open space down on the inside. A lot of parts borrowed from Lincoln. You can see it's got some push buttons in the back as well. Those are the door actuators, and then manual window roll downs. These vents right here in the back fenders actually bring in airflow so that the radiator back there can breathe, because this was originally a helicopter engine, so it was all air cooled, but he converted it to be water cooled, and therefore it runs off of that. We're just looking at some things in here. It's a flat 6 engine, so you can see the valve covers off on the side there. You can see the spark plugs up top, little breathers. Pistons shoot out that way, obviously. But I was just looking at the size of the ground strap, all the suspension component, and then that's all the transmission interface back there as well. Apparently it's got a select shift, or, no, hold on, let me walk up front. He had some sort of name for it. I can't recall off the top of my head because I'm trying to remember everything that he just told us. It has a pre-select transmission, that's what it is. So you put in first, give it some gas, pop in the clutch, and then it'll shift it into first. Then put into second, push the clutch, it'll pop it into second. It's pretty cool the way that it's set up. You don't see anything like that now, but it was all vacuum actuated, not too much electronic that went into it. Very cool design. There's a cord down there, cord 812. That also had some parts that were used from that to build the Tucker that I just showed you. There's also 1 of 48 production, which is pretty cool and very, very rare. Here's one of the Eldorados that I believe I saw last time I was here as well. Just look at that interior. I always think that my Galaxy's massive, my 1963 Galaxy, but I think this thing just tops it because it seems even more massive. Here's the Desert Camel, it's called, if you've never read up on the story. Here it is. If you're trying to read this, might as well pause and go ahead, check that out. I don't think I've ever seen this before. The Sunbeam Tiger, it says it's a baby cobra, pretty much. Ford 289 V8 under the hood. And it's on a spinning display, so you can see it rotating around here. It's a cool little thing right there. The good old Volkswagen thing. I love these. The World War II mobile. This wasn't here last time I was here. Lamborghini tractor. Which looks really wrong to see on a tractor, but back in the day that wasn't necessarily the case. Lamborghini and Ferrari make some pretty cool cars, there's no denying that, but if I could have any kind of supercar at all, without a doubt it would have to be the Ford GT. This has been one of my dream cars since I was a little kid, and with how much price is skyrocketing, I'm losing hope of ever owning one, but still hoping I can someday. But just this car has always just had one of the most striking looks to me, and it pays a good tribute to the original Ford GT. Of course, being here, it's in immaculate shape, but it's so simplistic on the inside, so cool on the outside, and the performance is just there to match it. The 5.4 supercharged V8, of course, a solid choice, and Doug DeMuro currently owning one, who I watch on YouTube, you know, he talks about his and how it's even reliable on top of all that. So reliability, fast, fun, and just striking good looks. I mean, you really cannot ask for more than that. Let's say 550 horsepower, 6-speed manual. Someday. 2021 GT here on the other hand, and I know some people love it, some don't. I'm personally one of the ones that loves it. I think it once again pays good tribute to the original. This one's very much more of a supercar design, I feel like. Modern supercar, at least. Interior's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen one of these up close before. The double vents on the passenger side, little screen, and all those buttons on the steering wheel. I like how down here it's got the same buttons that Ford's using in the F-150 and the Focus and the Fusion and all that. Part's been special right there, but the body lines on this thing are just crazy. Of course, it's controversial because it's got the EcoBoost engine. But I mean, if you can put a twin-turbo V6 in a car and get 660 horsepower out of it, I mean, I'm not really hating on it for any reason. I don't see a reason to. If it puts out the power, why not? I love how it's got the intake and that light there. Same with the other side, just the dual exhaust pipes. It does have a striking look to it. I haven't seen many of these drive by on the road, obviously, because they're very hard to get and they're very rare, but I'm telling you, any generation Ford GT over a Lamborghini, Ferrari, anything like that, I would do anything. Look, do not come at me or my family or my friends unless you have the Dodge Demon 1.5 ton jack. Thank you. The Plymouth Prowler, this one's a bit customized, as you can see by the wheels and the flames. I've always thought that it's such a cool car, but it was given the complete wrong powertrain. A 3.5 liter V6 and a 4-speed automatic transmission. It's just not enough to get it up and going. Such a cool look though. And just all that exterior work here. I've always thought that it's just such a cool feat of engineering. It's just such a shame that it only put out 200 horsepower. It looks like it should be able to zip down the road, zip around corners. It just can't. On top of all that, it's got parts from Dodge and Chrysler and Jeep. That's got all the same steering control stuff as my 1998 Dodge Ram. Parts been special, but that's Chrysler for you. 69 Ford Mustang Mach 1, 428 cubic inch Cobra Jet V8 engine, 4-speed manual transmission. The good old Trans Am, 6.6 liter V8, automatic transmission. And then this one, I remember looking at this last time, the Bricklin SV1. I learned some more about this, I'm gonna have to look it up. It had all kinds of issues. It was an engineering disaster from what I remember. I think, if I remember correctly, they said you couldn't open both doors at once because the electrical system couldn't handle it. Something like that. But it was just, once again, one of those vehicles built in the 70s that was absolutely bizarre. And it was kind of like, okay, what gap was this trying to fill here? A gap that it didn't really succeed in filling. Here's another look at that Trans Am on the inside a little bit. And of course, look at the Mustang up close and inside. Designed by an aircraft engineer, it said. This was here last time as well, and I couldn't stop laughing at it. How goofy this thing is.
So, did he explain this car to you at all, or
No.
So, there was no reverse on these cars, from what he was telling me.
No reverse?
No reverse, but the way you can move backwards is you have to turn the car off, and he said he was pointing them switches up there, and I don't know exactly which one it is. You have to reverse the polarity on the battery, and once you reverse the polarity on the battery, it'll actually activate the second distributor, because there's two different distributors on them, one for reverse, one for regular drive, and then it'll activate the reverse distributor and let you start moving backwards. So, yeah, rather interesting. And he said a guy around here had this, and then during the summer when it was hotter than Hades, he would actually flip the top of it, he'd just leave it hang off the side, and he was driving down the road with it on the side of it.
Of all the ways of doing that, that's certainly one of them.
Yeah, very interesting.
I love Pontiac Catalinas, and I love station wagons, so this is like the best of both worlds right here, at least in my humbled opinion. Look at that color match interior. Those big comfortable bench seats. But the best part comes in the back, of course. Not just the wagon hatch on it, but the rear bench seat. You can pack 9 people in this bad boy. And of course, no seatbelts for more fun. The Hudson Hornet. An absolute classic, recognized by hundreds of thousands. Obviously a good looking and well known car, but the Cars movie only did wonders for making this car even more known. The blue interior, the blue exterior, and of course the big old Hudson and Hornet badges on the back. Beautiful and unmistakable. 3 generations of Corvette here. You got father, son, and grandfather. Not in order. A 2019, a 53, and then a 63 split window. The Nissan Skyline. It's got this kind of Mistachrome paint color to it, like the old SN95s or New Edge. I can't remember which Mustang generation had it, but it would be weird to be sitting as a passenger on the left-hand side of that. But I've always thought that these are pretty cool looking cars. Always liked the look of them. Not a huge modern day Nissan fan, but back in the day, the 90s, the early 2000s, Nissan was making some pretty cool stuff. If I had to choose any Tesla, it honestly wouldn't be a Model S or Model X or Model Y. Even though it's got the most basic interior, it's a very cool car. Nobody would know what it is. And the first generation Roadster was pretty slick. Can't walk by without showing off the 69 C10. '60s and '70s trucks, heck even '80s and some of the '90s have a special place in my heart. A few months ago, I found a 2003 Bentley Arnage, kind of similar to this one, which is a 2000 on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm still debating, do I ruin my life with the Facebook Marketplace Bentley? Should I do it? I think it would be a really good idea, and that nothing bad would ever come of something like that. I'm lying. 25 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost, 15,560 in 1925. We did the math on it. In today's money, that is just shy of $280,000 right there. Which shows that Rolls-Royce has never exactly been a consumer cheap or everyday consumer friendly car, but man, they've always made one heck of a machine. We are on our way out though. The museum closes at 5 and it is 5:01, so unfortunately we can't stick around too much longer, but what are you looking at in there?
Big lever down there. It's like a toy.
Yeah, look at that.
Did you guys do a feedback part?
We just left Midwest Dream Car Collection. Worthwhile visit. Only downside was as we were trying to visit the gift shop, we were rushed out of there pretty quickly, which was whatever. But we got to see some cool things, learn more things than we knew yesterday, so I'd say it was a good day. A lot of interesting cars there. Well, there's Topeka right there. Very populated area of Kansas, which looks wrong after coming out of hundreds of acres of farm field on end, but we're driving through now. We filled up on gas before we left on this journey. I don't think I mentioned, and we were back down to 12.6 miles per gallon, so that's not too hot, but what are you gonna do? We will keep on cruising. We are coming up here on downtown Kansas City, Kansas, not to be confused with Kansas City, Missouri. We're not too far from the state border, I think maybe 10 or 15 miles, and then we'll be crossed over to Missouri, which is where we'll be staying for the night. There she is way out in the distance. Good old Kansas City. We just crossed over and we are now in Missouri, so we are in the state that we are staying in for the night. We got about 125 miles to go. Not too long, but still a good drive ahead of us. This also means that you're now looking at Kansas City, Missouri, and not Kansas City, Kansas. I guess this is the one that I remember. I remember one of the highways on the route had highways that kind of go underneath the city like this. It's pretty cool how it goes. You don't see this anywhere else. About 52 miles outside of Columbia now. Sun's going down, but we are getting there. Something out there is very smoky right now. And I have no idea what it is, but maybe we'll be able to see it as we drive past. Still can't see what exactly it is, but it's whatever it is.
Fire.
That's thick smoke.
Look, there's another one here.
It's hanging straight over the highway. And then there's another one right here. I don't see any flames off on the left, but I don't know. That's probably that one.
Oh, yo, stay back. Tires as well. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, stay back.
Yep, I'm getting tires, the tongue sticking out.
Homie handled that good though.
That's a good place to lose your tires.
That is the best place to lose a tire.
He blew
Get
both.
2. Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, Garmin, save video. I'll give homie some credit though. He handled that very
good.
well. We're in downtown Columbia at the University of Missouri at the one and only Shakespeare's Pizza. We're inside Shakespeare's now, and we just got our dinner for the night. We got a large masterpiece pizza, which has 5 pounds of toppings on top of the already existing pizza. It's good stuff. We're gonna dig in, and this is the only pizza that I really condone eating with a fork and knife because it's very hard to pick up. Let's get eating. Dinner's over. It's time to head on out. Mandatory room tour. Want to be on the nicer end of places that we've stayed so far. Is there a light switch over here? No? Lamps? Bed's here. TV.
Let's test her out.
Microwave. Chair. Oh, he's already.
Bounceability? Yeah.
He's already testing it. Got the air conditioner, which is very quiet. That's nice for once. Not a bad little place.
I'm not exaggerating that either. That's me full force jumping into this.
How's the bathroom? Not too bad. As I showed from the last video clip, we're in our hotel room for the night. We're at Best Western in Columbia. I think everybody enjoyed the pizza. Everybody enjoyed the museum. I'm getting some nods yes from the other side of the room, so seems like a successful day to me. We don't have as long of a drive tomorrow. We had about 6 hours, 50 minutes, maybe something like that. A little closer to 7, honestly. Shorter drive tomorrow for sure. We've got some more stuff that we can pack in because of that. So, gonna call it quits for the night. Thanks for watching this segment of the video.